time concerned. Not, never mind. I will be back in just a second. I'm just getting up to get something. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I just got a little, because I really like the sound of spritz. Do you even call it spritz? That like a spray sound. Like that, I appreciate a good one. I really hope that you like it too. I'm spritzing. Spritzing, oh my god. You know why I'm saying spritzing? Because in German it says spritzen. That's like spraying, it's not spritzing. Anyway, let me also pour myself a little bit of water and make sure that I stay hydrated. So, welcome to this very important ASMR video. It is extremely important, let me tell you why. Because we're gonna talk about the corporate world and how you as a black woman should, in my opinion, in a lot of my female family members' opinions who do work mostly in this corporate field, we believe that this is how we should navigate in the corporate world. If you are in the Western world, that is, in Europe, in in America, I am, as some of you may know, I am German. I'm not, well, my parents are from the Congo, so I'm African, but on paper, I am German. And so I reside in Europe, and we all know Europe, we all know the history of many European countries. We all know why Europe is, the way it is right now. Because of colonialism, because of all of these things, exploitation and all of that, right? Let me stop with not a rant about Europe, but yeah, I am in Europe, and there's lots of white people, so I am in the minority. And when you're in the minority, especially when you're a black woman, and if you're a black woman who wears a hijab, which I don't because I'm Christian, but it's just, when you're a black woman, there's just so much that you have to deal with. And why I mentioned the hijab is because if you're a black Muslim woman, you will probably have twice of the I guess the nonsense that people want to throw at you, because the Western world is anti-black and it's anti-Muslim, and this is a fact. It's an unfortunate fact. It is not a fact that should make you think that you are a victim. Okay, so we don't do victim mentality over here, but we do reality, right? And unfortunately, that is just the reality, is that we have to be a little careful. We have to be a bit more mindful. So yes, so again, as I said, I thank you for clicking on this video, and I really do hope that you are doing well. And yeah, so let me start off by saying that, as I said, I do reside in Europe, and it's not in Germany. Well, at the moment I'm in the Netherlands, but it's just temporarily. But I used to work for a media company, a major media company in London, in the UK. It's not too far from home, so that's why I went to London. And London is, by the way, it's a great city to be in my personal opinion. I think it's just, every time I'm there, I don't know what it is, but it's just, I don't know, it's cool. And they also have a lot of hair options for hair products for my hair. resume if you've worked for that company, because it's a huge one, it's a really big one. But however, I did feel a little, I don't want to say anxious, because it was not anxiety, but it was, I felt I was a little nervous, right? And let me explain why. Honestly, I am super thankful, right? I'm extremely happy and grateful that I'm a black woman for so many reasons. I love it. I think it's amazing. Of course, I don't think it makes you better than anyone else or whatever, but let's just say if I had the option to choose again, why am I saying again? Because I never had the option to choose. But if I were to have the option of, being a woman of any race, I would most definitely be the black woman that I am, with the features that I have, because I really do love myself, and I really do love my blackness, and I really do love you guys, my fellow black women. That's why I have this channel for you, for us. But I know that being a black woman in the corporate world, there's a lot of microaggressions that are in the package, okay, that we have to work with, that we have to deal with. And as I said, I think I mentioned it earlier, that I have a lot of family members who work in the corporate field, who are managers, who work at banks, who are accountants, financial advisors, those types of jobs. And we've had like those conversations together quite a few times, and we've all kind of came to the conclusion that in order to succeed and survive in this corporate world, you have to know how to quote unquote play the game. Yes, you do. And I want you to understand that I'm not trying to fearmonger. I'm really, because I don't want this video to come off as something in which, basically, I guess essentially I don't want you to think that because you're a black woman, that immediately makes you a victim, and that you have to, be super duper careful with everything you do, and I guess walk on eggshells and feel uncomfortable, because that is not what I'm trying to communicate. It's just that you have to know how to move in that world. The corporate world, let me tell you, is cutthroat. It is cutthroat. Now, it is not extremely, I guess, let me not exaggerate and say that people are literally like trying to, I guess, ruin you or sabotage you or whatever, but it is very much, people go in mostly non-black people, let's just say specifically with white people, you make one mistake and they're ready to just cut you off like it is nothing. Like it's absolutely nothing, you guys. I mean, think about it. Even like, what was that? When was that? It was like the Oscars, and I know we're all tired of talking about it, but Will Smith, which I'm not a huge Will Smith fan, but I grew up watching him, which is why he will always have like that childhood hero type of position in my heart, right? There's lots of people that you watch on TV as a child, and then you get older and you learn a bit more about them, and you're like, oh, well, I don't really know how I feel about his character, but I mean, he's not a bad person by any means, but he's just not really my cup of tea right anymore anyway. But he was for 30 plus years America's sweetheart, kind of like from what I've been able to kind of gather, he was quote unquote black excellence, or that was what people used to consider him. Him, Denzel Washington, I don't know, Tyler Perry, I don't know. You guys, if you're a black American, you would have to tell me. But in so many years, he was basically a poster child for Hollywood and for black Hollywood, and then he slipped up this one time, and everyone is ready to cancel him, and this is what we have experienced. So me and my fellow black women in my life, what we have experienced with dealing with white people, is that we make a mistake and it's in the books forever. It's like, you have beef with me, it's gonna be beef forever. It's unfortunate, but it's not surprising, and it shouldn't be anything that surprises you, and it should also be a reason for you to understand that you cannot move anyhow. You can't. And if you think that you can, then I guess, I don't know, especially like talking about the corporate world, I think of course we can distinguish between different industries. Personally, I believe that if you're in Hollywood, let me stop, but if you're in Hollywood, people don't mind if you are truly yourself. If you are just, I don't know, just a crazy individual, because that's kind of what you will find in a lot of actors, a lot of musicians, because some of them, a lot of them, unfortunately, they do use certain things, if you know what I'm talking about, sugar powder, and, they blow it up their nose, and I guess it's more accepted to be loose, to be yourself, to be free, like to act in freely, to openly voice your opinion on social media. I mean, you see it with Viola Davis. She's not a crazy woman. Viola Davis is not a crazy woman, but she's a black woman. She's in Hollywood, and she will speak up about, I guess, injustice, right? That's happening in regards to black people. She will talk about that. She will voice her opinion. She will share her opinion, right? So I guess you guys are on to what I'm trying to say, is that in Hollywood, in that specific industry, it is okay to be yourself. 100%. Maybe you still have to, filter some things out, but in the corporate world, it is a totally different industry. It's totally different. It is super competitive. It is super dry. It is very much cold. It is is, I mean, don't get me wrong, I can only imagine how competitive Hollywood is and how cold it is. But again, if you are likable, which you tend to be, if you are relatable, if you are on social media, if you connect and you communicate with your audience, if you are being yourself, you get success from that as well. This is why every celebrity, except for maybe, I don't know, Brad Pitt, everyone has an Instagram. It is because they know that this being likable, being friendly, being free is going to make people gravitate towards you, and you will have more people look at you and more people consume your music, your movies, your TV show and stuff like that. In the corporate world, you are not seen as an individual. You are seen, you are not seen as the individual, but you are seen as a part of a bigger thing. That is the corporation, that is the bank that you work for, that is, the media company that you work for. There are so many things. It's the corporation itself. And what they do is, because of that, it's no, individual being yourself and being open type of stuff. So it's as I said before, and I will move on to my next thing. As I said before, it is about being able to play the game and not being deceitful or shady when you do so. And also, I want to make it clear that when I say playing the game, and you will have to define what that means for you, because some people think that quote unquote playing the game means that you have to be a mean girl, who is, backstabbing people, and trying to get them out of the way in order to get what they want, in order to succeed in their job. I don't know if you guys have watched this season of Celebrity Big Brother, but Toxic Hall was in Celebrity Big Brother, which I went to one of his concerts when he was in Cologne in 2017, and I went with one of my friends, and we loved him at the time. But then come to find out, he's actually a very, very deceitful person. And if you've watched this year's US version of Celebrity Big Brother, then you would know what I'm talking about. And that means for some people to play the game. To me, that has absolutely nothing to do with playing the game. And maybe it's also because of my upbringing and because of my faith. I do believe in God. I am a Christian woman. You can say and think whatever you want about that, about black people being Christian and whatnot, but I do believe in God. I try my best to be a good person, and I don't want to be deceitful and step over people or backstab anyone to get to where because my right hand person would also get a nice pay, a good check, right? Like, it's just I guess what I'm trying to say is just I don't want to step on the people who are working with me or who are working for me. I don't want to do it. I don't want to have to step on my colleagues or my assistant or anyone. And I don't think that you should do it. And if you think that that is the message that I'm trying to give out, then you're not, then you're wrong, because it's not. So yeah, let me, because I wrote some things down that I think are quite interesting for you to look at. The first one, I called it the quote-unquote Beyonce effect. Shout out to Beyonce, but why do I call it the Beyonce effect? So, boom, check this out. We all know that Beyonce she's kind of, she's known for her talent, right? But she's also known for not, some celebrities will openly go on social media and just say what they want to say whenever they want to say and respond to every troll and just go on a tirade and everything. Beyonce, from what we see, she doesn't even give any interviews, but from what we see is she performs, she delivers artistically. It can be a music video, it can be a performance. I think her last one was at the Oscars. Beautiful, beautiful performance, and I really, really loved the colors and just the aesthetic. It was beautiful. She performs and delivers, and then she goes home, and you don't see or hear anything from this woman. And I think it is so incredible. It's just so, I don't know, to me, that is remarkable that there's only so much you get to see from her. We all get to see her amazing talent. She really knows what she's doing, and she does it well, and then that's it. That's all we get to see. Because of course, we are not her friends, we are not her family. They get to see more of Beyonce, but what we get to see is just that. And I feel like this is what you should do at work too, is that you should go in doing your best, being an expert at what you do in your field, and then not oversharing, not engaging in gossip, not, I guess, telling everyone your business and stuff like that. Making sure that you keep some things to yourself and private. Of course, you can have, oh my god, the mic just, of course you can have conversations with people, right? You don't want to be that person that is being nasty and cold to everyone. But you can have conversations, you can talk. They can know if you are married or you have children. It's not that deep, but you don't want to overshare. You want to find that fine line between being nice and having little conversations, getting to know your coworkers, and then not being not oversharing, as I said. And please, not engaging in any gossip, because those are your coworkers at the end of the day. I'm sure, I'm not perfect. We're all, I'm sure we've all gossiped at some point in our lives. Some of us do it till this day. But when you do it, you don't do it with someone that you work with. You do it with your best friend. You do it with your mother. You do it with the people that you are close to. And you want to make sure that you do it there as well. So deliver. Be excellent. Don't be perfect, but yourself and not see everyone. Oh wait, oh my gosh, I was trying to formulate my sentence, but what Beyonce does as well, and I kind of forgot to mention it, is, I mean, she had a couple of documentaries. I think I've seen 2 of her documentaries, in which, of course, she talks about some of the difficulties that she has experienced, but we haven't seen them, right? And I guess this also goes into that effect of, I guess, never letting your coworkers see you crumble. Now, hear me out. And this may be an unpopular opinion, but again, based on the conversations that I had, and based on also like some of the experience that I personally have had, I think that there is a time and place for your sad emotions. I'm sure that we've all had a very, very rough evening, super difficult day, and then the next morning we have to get up, we have to go to work, and we have to, I guess, pretend as if we are okay, when really what we want to do is just grab our lunch, lock ourselves into the bathroom, the ladies' room, and just cry and cry and cry, and we don't want to talk to anyone. Or you want to talk to one of your colleagues or human resource and just vent and rant and do all of that. But again, unpopular opinion, I think that you should have some people in your life who you can do that with, and others who you cannot. I don't think that coworkers are the types of people who you should be extremely vulnerable towards, like in front of, because when you have a friend, gosh, my voice, I can no longer whisper, but when you have your friends and you have your family, you have your mother, they're always going to be there for you no matter what. They're not only going to be there for you during the good times, but the bad times. They know that. They signed up for it. A coworker did not sign up for that. Please, black women, ladies, do not make your coworker your therapist. I think essentially only your therapist should be your therapist, but we all know that our friends and our mothers and our family members, we can make them our therapist anytime, any day, but not your coworker, not your boss, not your employer, not your supervisor, right? So there's a time and place for all of that. To be vulnerable and to crumble and to really just let it out. And I just don't think that the workplace, the office, is that place. And again, you can tell me if you disagree with me, because I do believe that it is quite the unpopular opinion. I think some people think that you should let those emotions out no matter what. You shouldn't feed all of that in you and then explode one day. But what I would suggest, and I've done it, I go to work, I pretend that everything is okay, and then I go to the parking lot. I go into my car and I just cry my eyes out. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, as I said, do not overshare. Move in silence. If you have had a pay raise, I don't think that you should talk about money with anyone. That's just, I don't know, kind of how I grew up. I only, talk about that with my spouse, with my husband. Really, I used to tell my mother, because, especially when I was growing so important. Backstabbing is real. I've heard some crazy stories from some of my cousins about, just resulting from jealousy and backstabbing. It is crazy. Fortunately, I haven't had that experience, but I'm trying my best to avoid it. Of course, you can't control people's actions. You never know if someone may just, fabricate a lie and just tell that to someone, but I try my best to really just, move in silence when I'm at work, and I only tell my closest friends and my family about, what's going on with me in that regard. So yeah, I think that is it. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. That's it. I think I talked about everything. Well, that went kind of quick, but I talked about everything I wanted to mention. And I guess you guys get the essence of what I'm trying to say is that you have to be mindful. You have to move in silence. You have to not be sloppy at what you do, right? If you go to work, make sure that you do it the right way, that you're not sloppy, because when you're a black woman, there's only so many chances that they're gonna give you. So perform well, utilize the Beyonce effect, and keep things to yourself, keep them private. Of course, be open-minded to, having conversations with people. And if there is a potential of friendship happening with you and one of your colleagues, you can of course allow it, but don't go in there thinking, oh my god, this is the place where I'm gonna find my best friend. This is not a bar, it's not the club, it's not, whatever. It's your workspace, workplace, and it's the corporate world that we're talking about. Do not forget that. I want to emphasize. I really, really, really do hope. I really hope. Really, really hope that you guys understand that there's a difference between the corporate world and other industries. When I'm talking about the corporate world, I'm basically, I'm talking about, a bank, the office, a media company, like anything where you're basically glued to your laptop, not laptop, but you're at a desk and you're glued to your desk and you have to do your job. And it's a corporate job. I'm not talking about, being I wouldn't know what it's like to be in the fashion industry. I can only imagine how cutthroat that is too, but I'm not talking about in Hollywood, being at the studio, making music, and, smoking that good, and having a great time. Of course, you can be loose, you can do whatever you want, but yeah, it's a little different when you work in the corporate world, and I really do want to emphasize that. Really, really do want to emphasize that. And also, before I end this video, talking about those friendships, sometimes you really have to ask yourself, would it be a great idea to really have a friendship at my workplace? Because let's just say you get into, a friendship or an entanglement with someone, and then it doesn't work out, or there's, a rift between you and your friend, or you and your entanglement partner, and then you have to go to work and you have to see that person. You're gonna be uncomfortable. It's gonna be very awkward. It's not gonna be a pleasant thing to experience, and you have to ask yourselves, am I willing to take that risk? Am I willing to take that risk, or am I just gonna accept the fact that I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I also hope that you can learn something from it. You can always let me know in the comments if there's anything you want to see or hear from me. If there's anything that I can improve. Perhaps it would be writing down a script, and knowing exactly what I want to talk about. I don't know if you guys want me to make any other sounds, because I'm always talking. I'm not really, making those ASMR type of sounds. I'm spraying a little bit. Sometimes I have, some water in the background. You will hear someone in the hallway. Yeah, just let me know what you want to hear. Always feel free to share my video with your friends or someone who you think would like this channel. Also, if you want to support it, of course, and to like the video too. And if you haven't done so, please subscribe. It's free. It is free 99, and it will help me if the people will subscribe in the long run. Of course, it's not a must, but yeah, do as you please.